Hello, Mrs. Talkington here. This week I'm going to draw a space rocket and the planets in the solar system. So let's make a start. Our rocket's going to be shooting off towards space. So we're going to draw a triangle shape at the top, wider at the outside, the fire and flames at the bottom, and the wings at the side. So I've started off with a triangle so I know where the middle of my page is. There we go. And we're going to draw two curves coming down the side and probably stopping about here. So we need to be thinking about where our pen's going to go. So let's have one going that way and one going off that side. Okay, and then let's join them together with a curve. Now if you do it with a curve, it stops it looking, your rocket looking flat. I'm going to add another line at the bottom here and do another curve to match it, and that's where our rocket boosters are going to come out the bottom, so we'll make it a little bit narrower and then draw another curve, and then we're going to draw two diagonal lines coming out, so one that way, and again we're going to join them up with a curve. Okay, so there's your rocket shape. We're going to go back to the top and start putting some pattern onto it. So I'm going to draw the windows in, and then I'm going to fill the spaces in between with the pattern. So if you're good, hopefully you can draw a circle. So just be steady with your hand. There we go, one. Try and get them the same size, but don't worry if you can't. And then use that one to draw a bigger line around the outside for your windows so your astronauts can see out. And there we go. And then I'm just going to put some lines on them because spaceships are made of lots of pieces of metal joined together. So this shows where the joins are. There we go. Right, let's go back up to the top now. Let's draw a curve for the cone of the rocket, and then I'm going to draw some bolts. Show it joining together. There we go. And then I'm going to do another curvy line on the top. And I'm going to draw some lines on it. I'm going to do one in the middle and some either side. And I've done them one on one side so I can see that they've all got the same gap between them. Then I go down to here. I'm going to use this line here to draw another small line above it. And in between I'm going to do another small row of bolts. There we go, just tiny circles. See if you can get them the same distance apart from one another. Now this bit's got a curve in the middle, another line. And just like the lines at the top, we're going to match them up. Oh, there we go. All the way down. Again, those same gaps. So you almost get square patterns showing. One more. There we go, so we've got squares on our rocket. This part here I'm going to put some stripes on. So I'm just going to put some straight lines, same distance apart, so make sure you leave the same gap all the time going across. One more, there we go. Right, we're ready for our wings on the side to help it fly. So they're a curved shape, almost like the end of a banana. So start probably halfway where your windows are, move your finger across, pull your pen down in a curved shape and stop. And then pull your pen from the side, do a curve, and then carefully join it up with a bend. Now this is the tricky part because you've got to try and get them the same. So put a little dot there so you know where that one is. Put a little dot there. And you have to see if you can get that curve the same as the other one. And that's tricky because when I put my hand here, I'm covering up, so I'm left-handed, I'm covering up so I can't see. So I'm going to do my best to do the same curve the other side. There we are. Okay, that's not quite the same, but doesn't matter. And then we're going to put a panel on here. So like half a square, and then put some bolts around the outside to hold that on. There we go, it's one. And one the other side. There we go. Brilliant. Right, I'm not very happy with that wing, but I'm sure when you draw it, you'll do much more of a curve here. So it'll be more of a line in there. Right, let's go. Let's do some flames at the bottom, shall we? So we're going to do a zigzag line. And as we go further down, we do the zigzags lower. And then bring your pen back up the other side. So you've got your flames. So your spaceship is finished. Now we're ready to move on to the solar system. Now the solar system is made up of lots of different planets, and we live on planet Earth. And then there's the sun, and there's lots of planets between us and the sun, and then further away from us. So I'm going to start with the one, I'm going to draw the sun, part of the sun at the top. So that's the furthest away. So I'm just going to do a half circle shape at the top. So that's our sun at the top. Then the planet that's nearest to the sun is called Mercury. And it's the smallest planet in the solar system. And it's grey and white with speckles on. So I'm going to draw it over here. So that's Mercury over here. And I'm going to put a couple of speckles on to help me remember that that's the one with little white dots on it. There we go. And the next one is Venus. I'm going to draw that here. Now Venus has got it's orange. And it's the same size as Earth, the planet we live on, and it's really hot. It's the hottest of all the planets. All right, I'm going to do pattern going across. There we go. There we are. Right, so that's Venus. So we've got Mercury, Venus, and then next is going to be Earth. So that's where we live. Now I'm going to draw Earth here because it looks like our rocket has left Earth and is going off into the solar system. And because it's quite close to the rocket, I'm going to draw it quite big. But it's the same size as Venus. I'm going to draw it here. I'm going to do a curve there. And I'm going to draw Iceland on the top. And then I'm going to draw part of North America. And then join that over. It bends underneath, or it gets quite narrow, and there'd be Cuba going down here. And then across here would be the top of Great Britain, a bit further over, but it's off the page. Right, so we've got Earth, Venus, Mercury, Earth. Then there's Mars. Mars is called the red planet. And it's a little bit smaller than Earth and Venus. And robots landed here once. I think NASA took some robots and they were able to get some robots onto there. So I'm going to draw Mars over here. Now what did they say? It's smaller than Earth, although I've drawn Earth rather big, haven't I? And that's the red planet. So has it got any, let's see, has Mars got anything on it? I'm not sure. No, I think it's mostly just red all over. So I'm just going to leave that. I'm not going to put any patterns on there. Right, I'm going to move over here. So I need a bit more space because I'm going to draw Jupiter. Jupiter's the biggest planet. So I'm going to draw it a bit bigger than those. Let's start over here. It should be in a line really. But this is my interpretation of what the solar system looks like. They'll be miles and miles apart. I'll put some zigzaggy lines on there. And that is an orange planet, and it's made up of gases, so different to some of the other ones. There we go, Jupiter. And what's next? Saturn. Now Saturn, you'll know, it's the one with the rings around it. So we're going to have to draw half a circle, and then we're going to draw like a frisbee around the outside. There we go, can you see that? Now I'm going to join those lines up now, I can see where it goes behind. And then draw the other half of the circle the other side. There we go, so that's Saturn. And that's a yellowy colour when we come to colour that in. Now, who's next? Uranus. Now that's a light blue planet, and that's made of gas as well, but it's the lightest planet of all. So let's draw that over here. I'm going to draw some patterns on there. So that's Uranus. And then Neptune is a very small, that's the furthest planet from the sun. And it's the smallest planet. And it's bright, bright blue. So I'm going to draw that down here, make sure it's smaller than the Mercury up there. And it's bright, bright blue. And apparently it's really, really windy there. The windiest planet there is. So we've done... Now, when I was little, Pluto used to be another planet. But now they've discovered that Pluto isn't a planet anymore. So I'm not going to put it on my picture of the solar system. You can add it if you like. I'm going to put some stars out into the night sky. And I'm going to put them just randomly in my night sky. Now, you might find it a bit tricky to draw these kind of stars. So you might want to just do some cross lines. So you do a cross and then you do another cross. They're much easier to draw. And you can do lots and lots and lots of those. Or you can do some dots. Because really, when we're on Earth, the stars are so far away, we can't see the shape that they are. We just see them glowing brightly. So we can make them look anything we like. Or you might like to do some stars that are this shape. It's up to you. Let's do a couple of those. And let's surround them by some of those easy peasy ones to draw. There we go. They're much easier, aren't they, to draw? You could probably do hundreds and thousands of those ones. And let's surround them by some tiny, tiny, tiny stars. So, but between each of these planets, there'll be millions and millions of stars to see. Right, let's draw some different ones down here. Now, these ones, a bit of a triangle. And then draw some spikes. So you've got 5 prongs to them. So a little bit like a starfish, really. So you do a little triangle. And then one line there, one line there, one line there. You just count to 5 when you do it. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So different kinds of stars. So you could choose any ones you find easiest to draw. The dotty ones are definitely the easiest. And these ones are probably the second easiest. There we go. Right, let's do some of those 5-pronged ones. They're like a starfish, but with points on. There's ones you could colour those ones in, couldn't you? Colour them in yellow, or you could leave them white if you coloured the background in black. It's up to you. And then to show this is far, far away, I'm going to put tiny, tiny stars around Neptune to make it look far, 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 far away. Let's just go back and join those. So look, they're all together in a line. There we go. And should we do the same the other side? So let's do some of those. Let's do some of these ones over here. There we go. That'll do a tiny one. Join it together with some dots. And some of the easy peasy stars. There we go. And then I'm going to use this space here to do some of my 5-point stars. So it's like a little triangle in each bit. So there's one triangle there, part of a triangle there, down there, and across. Okay? They're the trickiest ones to do. Let's join them all up. There we go. And there you have your own solar system with planets. Okay. Now I'm going to come back later like I do, and I'm going to colour it in, and I'll speed it up again. So I'll show you how to start it off, then I'll speed up my video, and then we'll get to the end result and see what it looks like. Let's see how we get on. Okay, I'm back. Right, shall we start with colouring in some of these squares? So I'm going to colour in every other one so I get a checker pattern. So I'm going to use the colours of NASA. So my rocket's going to be mainly white, and I'm going to use red, white and blue. So I'm going to colour, I'm going to miss one out, I'm going to colour this one in. Miss that one out, colour this one in. Remember, I'm going up and down again between the lines, not going backwards and forwards. Now, to make it look like a checkboard, I haven't coloured that one in, so the one underneath I am going to colour in. Miss one out, colour this one in. Miss one out and colour this one in. And I'm going to do the same at the top of my rocket. So I'm going to copy up the top here, so I'm going to colour this one in. Miss one out, do the next one. And go over this up, miss that one out, and do that one. There we go. Right, I'm going to get my blue, I'm going to swap to my blue, and I'm going to do the same on here. I'm going to do blue, white, blue, white. So I'm going to do blue in that one. White, blue, blue, white, blue, white, blue. That's called a repeating pattern when you've got the same thing over and over again. Blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, blue, white. There we go. Right, I'm going to colour this whole thing in here blue. All the way over, up and down again. Keep my pencil going up and down. It's a bit tricky to stay between the lines when you're going up and down in such a small space. But just keep looking at what you're doing and thinking about where your pencil is, and you'll get between the lines. There we go. Right, I'm going to do, I think I might do a little bit of blue around my windows. Now if I do a pattern, blue, white, oh no, that's not going to work out because it's not even. I'm going to do the whole thing blue. Now this time I am going to go up and down because it's going to be very difficult to go all the way down round like that. So we're going to up and down, all the way round. And the same for the window at the top. There we go. So up and down. Up and down, then join it over. So there we go. There we go. Right. Oh, let's do the flames, because all of that is white metal with bolts. So let's do the flames. Now the hottest part of the flame is yellow. So let's do yellow in the middle first. Again, up and down, up and down. Now, flames often are made up of red, orange and yellow. So let's do all that yellow in the middle. Then I'm going to swap to a bright orange, and I'm going to do orange up and down. It doesn't matter if I go over the yellow because that just blends it together. There we go. And then we're ready for the red. Do a bit more blending. That looks nice. And ready for our red. And go right up to our pen lines. And go back down to the bottom. Oh, there we go. And then finish off to there. And do a little bit over the orange just to blend it together. There we go. It's nice, some nice hot flames to keep the engines going up towards the sun. Now whilst I've got my yellow in my hand, I'm going to colour the sun in at the top. So the hot sun, it's the same yellow as the hot flames. Because the sun, if you ever reach the sun, it's extremely hot, which is why nothing lives there or can exist there. There we go. Now, what colours did I say the other ones were? Let's have a look. I think Mercury we said was grey. So I'm going to get my grey pencil. Mercury was the first one. So it's grey all over with some speckles on. So that was nice and easy. Remember, if you haven't got a grey colouring pencil, you can use your writing pencil. So we've got the grey one. Now Venus is a shade of orange. So we said this one was Venus. So I'm going to do orange at the top. I'm going to try and leave that bit there white. So I'm going to colour up to the edge. And I'm going to leave that gap. And you can colour over those dots because they're black, they'll show through. There you go. So we've got Mercury, Venus. Now what was this one? This one was Mars, wasn't it? So they called this the red planet. So let's colour this in different reds. So I've got a light red, a dark red. I'm going to colour over each one. That's the one where the robots have visited. There we go. Red hot planet. So that's Mars. So we've got Venus, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Let's go down to Earth. So we need a green and a blue because we know that the green is the land. Oh, do you know what? I've just made a mistake. That's not green because that is white. That is the top of the Earth. That should be ice. Oh dear. Well, when you do yours, don't colour yours in green. This is America. This can be green. It's quite complicated, the solar system. I'm making lots of mistakes today, but not to worry. I'm sure when you do it, you'll do a much better job than I will. There's lots of you I know, lots of children in reception I know that know lots about the solar system, so I'm sure they'll do a better job. Now I'm going to carry colouring that in green, it's going to look funny, but you remember when you do yours, don't colour it in green, leave it white because it's all of the ice caps. It's very cold there, so that should be white, not green. Right, now onto the blue for the sea. I don't think we've ever done such a big picture before and come off the paper. Oops, let's move that back. It's our biggest picture yet. So that's where all the sea life live. Be careful colouring this bit at the bottom. Press quite lightly, otherwise you get that dark mark that I've got there. Your pencil falls off. Right, we've got Earth. Slightly wrong, but never mind. Right, let's go over now. Jupiter. This is the biggest planet. This is orange. And this is the one made up of lots of gases. I'm going to colour between those zigzaggy parts. And then I'm going to use a different orange, if you've got one, to do in those bits. There we go. Now, well, remember this one. This one's Saturn, because it's got its own rings, and they say it's yellow. So we can colour all over. press a bit harder with yellow, it gets a bit brighter. I'm going to use my other yellow to go over the top. That's a bit more yellow, isn't it, that one? Okay, so that's Saturn. Right, what's next? Uranus. Now, this was the lightest planet made of gas, and this is a bluey colour. So let's use this one. And press a bit harder this side because I think this is in the shade a bit. Now, remember, this is Neptune, and they said it's the brightest blue. So I've got a really lovely bright blue here. There we go. Now all I've got to do to finish my pictures is colour in some of my stars. So let's get that lovely bright yellow. Colour in those. There we go. And the ones over here. And 3 up here. And then we are done. Now, you might like to colour in the night sky black all the way around so it looks like you're in deep space. That would take a very long time. Now today, I won't have to speed up my video because I've talked through all the different things, so it's important that we get the right colours on our planet. So there'll be no... I thought I was going to speed it up today, but I think I won't. I think I'll keep it nice and slow and you can see me doing it. And I look forward to seeing some of these pictures when you come back to school in September. Until next week, we've got one more week of the holidays doing a drawing video, and I'll have a think about what I'm going to do for your last week. I hope you enjoy drawing the solar system. See you soon.